Gorgeous night tonight, and it's Joe Madden Manager of the Year bobblehead night. The regularly scheduled game, Brewers and the Cubs. The Cubs won the makeup game earlier this afternoon, 4-0. Welcome to Cubs baseball. Jim DeShays and Len Casper. The Cubs pitched very well. Just enough timely hitting in the first game to win 4-0, and they'll turn to Jason Hamill here in Game 2.
Yeah, Trevor Cahill made the start in Game 1, 5 shutout innings, and you expect good things for Jason Hamill for two reasons. One, he's been really good against the Brewers in his career, 9-1 with a 2.72 ERA, and he's been outstanding here of late, 5-0 with a 1.16 since the All-Star break. That's the best mark in Major League Baseball.
Chase Anderson has been pretty good. He is 3-0 over his last 5.
Yeah, overall 7-10 with a relatively high ERA, but better here of late, 3-0 with a 3.20.
So the Cubs looking for a doubleheader sweep. It's Hamill time. Cubs hosting the Brewers next. Not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. Honda. Get the Honda you love at the Honda Summer Clearance Event. Now at your Honda dealer. State Farm. There for you when things go wrong, but also here to help life go right. Talk to an agent today at 800 State Farm. Mattress Firm, where we want you to sleep happy guaranteed. Remember, if it's over 8, it's time to replace. Your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Chicago Cubs baseball in beautiful high definition is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Brewers held to just 3 hits in the opener. Here's how they'll line up. VR is going to play short in Game 2. Jeanette, Ryan Braun only with a pinch hit at bat earlier today. Perez plays third. Carter's at first. Neuenhuis moves over to right. Keon Broxton in center. Martin Maldonado on his 30th birthday catching Chase Anderson.
Defensively, the Cubs with a different look for the night game. Contreras, Cesar, Soler left center. Right infield of Bryant, Baez, Zobrist, Rizzo. David Ross will do the catching tonight. And tonight's Cubs starter brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois is Jason Hamill. The card to carry through it all.
We're underway. Foul strike. On VR, the numbers for Hamill already a career high 12 wins. And he's statistically been the best pitcher in the majors since the All-Star break with a 116 earned run average, 5 starts, all wins.
A 2.90 ERA for the year, 10th best in the National League. And career 81 and 82, 1 game below 500, significant because he has never been at or above 500 in his entire major league career. So it's be a fun night to pick up that W.
For sure. And the backdoor slider that time. 2-2 on the switch hitter. VR played third in the opener. 1 for 3 with a walk, and he was picked off. Sam Holbrook did not work game 1. That's the deal for double headers. Home plate umpire only works 1. Davis, Drake, and Woodring, however, did. Moss setting up to the inside. That ball grounded to the shortstop, Baez.
It was a busy day for the infielders this afternoon with Trevor Cahill on the mound. Jason Hamill has been more of a ground ball pitcher this year than in the past. Javi Baez making the play there. Javi making his 13th start at shortstop this year. There are the career numbers for Jason. 81 up, 82 down, 4.35 the ERA. He's done his best work in a Cub uniform.
Scooter Gennett 0 for 3 with a walk. Did you notice he carves a fish into the dirt next to the on deck circle?
I see that now.
Just noticed that he did it. Not sure of the significance or just kind of fun.
A Christian thing, I'm guessing.
Gennett hugs the plate. Takes ball 2, 2-1. Cubs with a 12.5 game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. Best home record in the National League. Picked up their 42nd home win earlier today, 42-19. Not that there was any danger in the Cubs not being a winning club at home, but guaranteed now that they will. Their 42nd home win. Gorgeous night. Mid-70s. Wind not doing much at all at the moment. Line foul to left. Oh, what a grab. Fan with a glove, and I believe the second row right behind the bullpen. Went up and got it.
Well done, sir. Send that man an ice cream. It's on me.
Yeah. Three-two. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Slider, the best pitch for Jason Hamill. He's used the curveball more this year than he has in the past. The Brewers beat Jason back on May 19th. That's the first time in his career that he lost to Milwaukee. He avenged that one back on July 22nd, beating them 5-2 when 5+ allowed 2 runs.
Strike on Braun. The last run Hamill allowed came 3 starts ago against the White Sox.
Yeah, and that was a home run by the opposing pitcher, the rookie.
So that was the narrative going into the season. How will Jason pitch in the second half? Because he had struggled each of the last 2 years after the break. Not so far this season. Contreras makes the catch. Cubs coming up against righty Chase Anderson. When they score 4 or more runs. Their Southwest starting lineup. All the position players getting a start in this doubleheader. Caesar, Bryant, Rizzo at the top, Soler, Zobrist, Contreras in the middle, Baez, Ross, and Hamill at the bottom.
Brewers defensively, Ryan Braun gets a start in left field. Keon Broxton is getting steady playing time in center now. He's a speedster. Nieuwenhuis plays all over the outfield. Perez, the third baseman, plays all over the diamond. He's played 6 different positions. He was in the outfield for game 1. VR has committed a major league high 21 errors. Scooter Gennett, Chris Carter on the right side of the infield. Martin Maldonado is the backstop, and Chase Anderson is the chunker for the Brewers here tonight, and he's out there for the 23rd time. 7 up, 10 down, with an ERA approaching 5. He's a big-time reverse split guy, a right-handed pitcher who's far better against left-handed hitters than righties.
Sometimes walks are a problem. A bloated pitch count, but he's been good as of late. And the first pitch strike on Matt Caesar.
And had one of his best starts of the year against the Cubs back in May. Went 8 2/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. Picking up the W. Got a dandy of a changeup, and that's why he's so good against left-handed hitters.
One and one on Matt. Part-time player, has been very productive, and he lays down a bunt. Foul. Yeah, cold metal hitting.
He's at the top of the order tonight, doing some damage here in the month of August.
Have only lost 2 games so far this month. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Anderson's from Wichita Falls, Texas. Drafted by the Twins twice in low rounds out of high school, then out of junior college, but did not sign. Eventually taken in the 9th round by the Diamondbacks, 2009, out of the University of Oklahoma.
Fly ball pitcher.
Right on cue. A pop fly behind second base, handled by VR.
There's a lot of fly ball pitchers. The long ball has been a bit of an issue for him. He's allowed 21 home runs. Home run per 9 innings pitched rate of 1.70 is the 3rd highest in Major League Baseball for pitchers who have worked at least 100 innings. Is that guy wearing a fez?
Looks like it.
Looks like a fez. It's a Cub fez.
Cub logo on top as well.
A little Morocco mole rocking there.
Ball one on Bryant. One for four with a run. And caught stealing. Game one.
It's probably daunting for Bryant to look out there at the infield with the umpire positioned the way he is. It looks like it's, they're even less room for him to hit the ball through.
5 guys over there with the 2 umpires between second and third.
So the right-handed sluggers, you would think, a very dangerous matchup for Anderson here tonight.
Two one taken for a strike. 2-2.
There's a little bit of a cut fastball, 2 or 3 miles per hour off of his heater, and probably a pitch he's working on to try to neutralize the right-handed hitter some. He does throw his changeup to righties.
Ooh, that one hit the pitcher, and that made a loud noise, and he's in pain as he makes the play. That really stung. Where it got him is the question. Maybe inside of the left knee. Wow.
Now this is called hitting into bad luck for both guys. Bryant makes an out. Anderson gets stung. Take a little time for the pain to ease.
.107 miles an hour off the bat of Chris Bryant. He's going to need a second, even if he stays in. And even if he does stay in, that's the kind of thing that can stiffen up. We'll try to take some warm-up tosses.
Get the sense he's done. There's a head shaking going on out there.
Feels like a no.
Yeah, and the fact that he didn't jump right back up there on the mound and throw a couple more to try to convince Counsell that he was good to go.
So we will have a very early pitching change due to an injury, and we'll be back in a moment. Wrigley, you can upload your video to 7th Inning Stretch Contest.com or buy tickets for the next Bud Friday in the bleachers, and you can try out like they did. Not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. Yes, JD, you have the honors tonight. You excited?
So fired up beyond belief, my friend.
Not backing down since 1876. Jim DeShays. And this Bud's for you.
Yeah, set your timer in case you change over to the Olympics. You're not going to want to miss this gold medal performance.
Jan Marinez will have as much time as he needs to get loose. And this early in the game, nobody in that Brewer bullpen was stretching or had any idea they'd get in. So this will take a few minutes.
Usually in the middle innings, guys will get up and move around a little bit, stretch their legs. No, not this early in the ball game. 2 batters in. The 9-1-1 call goes up to the Brewer bullpen.
Well, we have a chance. Let's go first to third. The Indians have the best record in baseball since June 1st. Starting the night, the 5-game lead over Detroit. Tigers without Miguel Cabrera day to day with a left bicep strain. And what a tough year for Shin-Soo Choo. Hit by a pitch last night. Broken forearm. 4th time he has been on the DL.
He's only played 45 ball games so far this year. How about this play by Hunter Pence last night in their game against the Pirates? This kind of defines Hunter Pence. Down he goes, but he stays with it and makes the play land on his back.
The Pirates won that game. The Giants, after going 57-33 in the first half, are 9-19 to start the second half. Marinez is ready.
Marinez, a right-hander who has pitched 26 times to a 3.79 ERA. He can rush it up there pretty good. Average velocity on his heater, 94 and change. So throw a hard slider. And big league time with the Marlins and the White Sox and the Rays.
Facing Anthony Rizzo, 2 outs, nobody on. A ground ball to second in shallow right. It's Jeanette. And the inning is over. Brewers lose their starting pitcher. They are scoreless after 1. Jason Hamill here in inning number 2. Perez, Carter, and Neuenhuis due for the visitors. .92 fastball strike. And on Perez, game 1, 0 for 4. He played right. And he's down 0-2. Hit pretty well. Caesar got a good jump, and he'll make the grab.
Cub fan, if you want to manage the game along with Joe Madden, log on to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner, and there you will connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you watch from home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Everything you need to have more fun at home this summer.
Chris Carter, hitless in 2 at-bats, hit by a pitch, a walk, and a steal earlier today. Batting 5th.
That's a good hook.
1-2. Before his last start, Hamill spent some time on the bereavement list. Came back 7 shutout innings against the Angels. Two and two.
Yeah, so he was able to stay sharp despite extra rest. He had 8 days off prior to that start.
He went. Strike 3. Call made by Holbrook, the home plate umpire. 2 gone.
Carter strikes out 1/3 of his plate appearances. The Brewers, as a team, up over 25%, the highest strikeout rate in the National League. They also walk, second to the Cubs in that department.
Fowler and Hayward out of the lineup here for game 2. So you can't take away any starts, but you've come up with the idea of, maybe erasing your worst start of the year. Well, if Jason Hamill could, and it was probably the worst start of his career. July 1st at Citi Field, a 10-2 loss to the Mets. 4 innings, 10 runs, 5 homers allowed. So even with that start and all those runs added to his ledger, his ERA going into tonight was 2.90. All right. If you just erase those runs,
yeah,
his ERA would be 2.19. So that was worth almost a full run on his ERA that one night.
Yeah, well, he's allowed 41 earned runs this year. 10 of them came in that one start. And how about the way he responded to that ugly start? I'm sure there were a lot of people are thinking, oh boy, here we go. Jason's about ready to hit his second half skid. Next time out, 5 innings, 2 runs, and a no decision. And after that one, he has won 5 in a row.
Full 3-2. Keon Broxton waits on deck. Hamill's pitch. He walked it. First base runner for Milwaukee. Hey, Cubs fans, let's go. Tickets are still available for tomorrow night and Thursday afternoon's matchups against these Brewers. Don't miss any action at Wrigley Field. Visit Cubs.com to get your tickets today. The stretch for the first time. Close over there as Neuenhuis went back feet first.
Carter and Maldonado, the only position players in the lineup tonight. You really don't have to worry about trying to steal a base. Everybody else, the running game is in play.
Neuenhuis would be best served if he does run tonight to maybe go feet first. He went face first into the dirt in game one. Caught stealing in the second.
Yeah, came up a little short, a little face plant.
On the outside corner, fastball to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the second. 0-0 in game two. Xfinity. The Cubs were pretty resourceful, weren't they, in game one? Sac fly. Addison Russell in the first inning. Wisconsin would add another sac fly in the eighth. Wild pitch. Get a run home. And then Trevor Cahill, 3-2 sac bunt.
And some clutch sacrificing going on. Runs coming home via sacrifice. 2 flies, 1 bunt, and then the other one on the wild pitch. Cubs 6 hits in the ball game.
Speed replay brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Cahill got through 5, did not allow a run. He earned that yawn. One ball, 1 strike on Jorge Soler. Hack that time.
A bold offering by Mr. Martinez. Soler with a good aggressive hack. Just missed it. A little bit. Foul straight back like that, you know he's got him timed up pretty well.
Gorgeous night. What a great day for game one. See the construction behind the ballpark and the reflection off the sun here in the late hours of sunlight that we have left. Pretty ideal. Nunez has never started at this level. He's been a Marlin, a White Sox, a Ray, and now a Brewer. Debuted in 2010 with the then Florida Marlins. Recently turned to 28. The third foul.
Bulk of his major league work coming this year with the Brewers. 4 games with the Marlins in 2010. A couple appearances for the White Sox in 12. 3 with Tampa earlier this year. The rest here with the Brewers after coming over from the Rays. Picked up on waivers actually by the Brewers.
Signed when he was 17 with the Marlins out of the Dominican Republic. Full count, 3-2 on Soler. And Zobrist on deck. It's number 9 of the sequence. He walked him.
On Wednesday, and my golly, that's almost here. It's tomorrow. Cubs take on the Brewers. First pitch is at 7:05, and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans will receive a Cubs Beach tote bag presented by Las Vegas. Tickets are still available. Visit Cubs.com today.
Switch hitting Ben Zobrist. He's playing second. Walked a couple of times, scored a run in the opener and takes a strike.
Greg Counsell's going to have to piece it together the rest of this ball game with Anderson going out early due to injury. Got 5 innings from Matt Garza in game 1 of the doubleheader. Got 8 men in his bullpen, all right-handed. 7 left now that Martinez has entered the ball game. I assume Cravey's not available. He threw 2 innings in game 1, 26 pitches. Magnifico, the rookie who made his debut, may be down as well.
Fastball at 95, but low. 2-1. Short lead by Soler. He worked the leadoff walk. 2-1 to Zobrist is wide. 3-1. Contreras waits on deck. 3-2 now. Good matchup in Baltimore. Red Sox have a 3-0 lead over the Orioles. Bottom 5. Orioles and Jays tied for first. Boston 1 back. And the Blue Jays trailing at the Yanks 5-0 in the 5th. Runner goes and Zobrist fouls.
A little run hit there on 3-2 with Zobrist up. He's an ideal guy in this situation. If it's out of the zone, he's going to take his walk. If it's in the zone, he's going to put it in play with regularity. nothing for certain in this game.
Delayed in New York currently. See if Soler goes this time. Yep. And it'll be a double play. Zobrist lines to Jeanette. 2 outs.
Well, that's just buzzard's luck there. Great at bat by Zobrist. Hits it right on the screws, and it turns into 2 quick outs for the Brewers.
Good news is there weren't 2 men on base, but if there were, they probably wouldn't have been running.
Soler has to do a belly flop here so he doesn't get dinged by this line drive.
Contreras caught the 9th inning today. He's playing left. First pitch strike. Dodgers lead at Philadelphia 3-1. Bottom of the 5th. Dodgers a half game behind the Giants. Backhanded by the shortstop. VR nicely done to end the inning. Leadoff walk wasted, and the Cubs do not score.
Triple play promotion. Text Subway 3 to 97999. And the 300th texter will win a $30 gift card to a Subway restaurant in the Chicagoland area.
Caesar in deep right center retires Maldonado.
Subway fresh is what we do. I'm sure the Cubs had their normal post-victory clubhouse celebration after game 1.
Sure.
Shower up, change a uni, have a bite to eat, hang for a while.
Always celebrate the wins. Nunez pops out to Rizzo. So you have an inning like this. First 2 batters, 2 or 3, 4 pitches at most. In the back of your head, you got to be thinking, all right,
it's a 0.
Let's do this fast.
It's a bagel.
Quick.
You're thinking 0, but the one thing you don't want to do is mentally check out. Put yourself in the dugout already.
It is the kind of inning that can buy you an extra inning later. VR tried to bunt and fouled.
Yeah, it's what Boz and Borzi refer to as a Hines 57 or a Hines inning, a catch-up inning. If a guy's running a high pitch count, there's a real quick one. We'll get him back on pace.
Rookie Arcia on the bench to start game 2. And that'll end the inning. 7 pitches for Hamill in the 3rd. That's it. Providing a crew meal between games.
Yeah, good stuff.
At one point, you're going to see my partner surveying the scene.
Yeah, kind of like the lunchroom monitor in school. You know, standing there. Like I'm getting ready to jump somebody for taking too much beef. Easy there, pal.
Javier Baez takes ball 1. Might have actually caught part of the outside corner, but Maldonado had to reach. A shift to the left on the infield against the right-handed batter, and he cuts and misses.
Yeah, you're going to get that glove side fastball away to the lefty call, I think, more often than to the righty, because the catcher has to reach across his body, and it's tougher to present that ball in a favorable manner to the umpire.
In the air, center field, Broxton for the out.
Cub fans, don't forget to check out the Cubs baseball blog at WGNTV.com. The blog is sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 38 years. To join the nation, contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side.
Update on Chase Anderson. He's got a left quad bruise. That liner off the bat of Chris Bryant. 2 batters and done. David Ross, love and life. 7 homers, final big league season. He's actually caught Hamill about a half a dozen times this season as the two veterans work together again tonight.
John Lester will pitch tomorrow night against Jimmy Nelson. And getaway day, Jake Arrieta and Zach Davies, who's been really good. Davies 9-5 with a 380. Pull out that driver, David.
3-2.
There are the pitching matchups tomorrow. The big righty Nelson against the big lefty Lester. And the Arrieta Davies matchup for the Thursday matinee.
Inside, he walked him. Thursday, August 18th. Cubs battle the Brewers at 1:20. That is in a couple of days. First 10,000 adults 21 and over in attendance get a Cubs floppy hat presented by Rum Chata. Tickets are still available. Visit Cubs.com today. Jason Hamill can swing the bat at 235 on the year, and he fouls back to the screen.
And one out bunt situation. Marina's just walked a man, so you figure he's going to throw one in there. So lets Jason take a whack at it.
Bounced in the left. Perfectly placed. A 5.5 hole.
First hit of the ball game for either side. It's Jason Hamill. Yep, with Perez in, thinking bunt. Obviously cuts down on his range, and Hamill able to exploit that.
Two on for Caesar. A Villanova product. '79th game for Matt this year. Foul pop. Carter trying to find some room, and he's got it right in front of the tarp for the second out. That'll leave it up to Bryant.
See where Matt Holliday is going to have surgery, and Seth Maness as well.
Yeah, that Maness, that's a big loss. He was pitching really well.
Tommy John surgery for Maness, so he'll probably miss all of next year as well. They were hoping to avoid surgery for Holliday, but that is not the case.
On Bryant.
Martin Maldonado, the catcher for the Brewers, solid back there. Throws well. Good mechanics.
Rizzo on deck. For a base hit. Here comes Ross around third. He will score, and the Cubs lead 1-0.
Cubs worked 4 walks in game 1 this afternoon. 2 of them came around to score. Ross, who walked with 1 out, scores the first run of this ball game. Another line drive off the bat of Chris Bryant. He's had some really good swings today. You remember last time he had a rocket off the pitcher, chased him from the ball game. This time, this line drive settles into left field for an RBI single for him.
Rizzo, bottom of the order, setting it up for Bryant. And now Anthony. Chris Bryant with his 73rd RBI. Fouled off the end of the bat. There are some fans and Cubs observers who say, Bryant, he needs to hit lower in the lineup. His RBI chances have diminished. Well, he gets on base a lot. He's creating RBI chances for the other guys. Those RBIs are coming. They're just he's not getting them. Rizzo's getting them.
Yeah, and
Russell's getting them.
Bryant's among the league leaders in runs scored.
Yep. Addison Russell, who's 22 years old, had a quote the other day that was just you want to pull it and put it on a poster. He said RBIs are a function of opportunity. So true. He realizes he's getting a lot of chances with all he's been on base. VR to end the inning. Cubs get the lead 1-0 after 3. Hashtag Bud Fridays, and we may use it during our fan cam, our Bud fan cam a little later on. Where's Groove, by the way? JD,
oh, it's in the heart.
It is. See? Now you got it. Next Bud Friday, September 2nd, Joe Madden glasses, the giveaway, as Jeanette bounces foul.
A shot of the moon looks like your eye when you go get your eyes checked.
One strike on Scooter.
Just a little puff of air.
Yep. You are a glasses wearer. Are you nearsighted?
Yes. Used to rock the photo grays back when I was in college. Be out there pitching and all my glasses would turn dark. Took a lot of heat from the other team for that.
Never got LASIK or considered it?
Thought about it.
Would take away your studious, distinguished look.
Yeah, just did the contact thing for a while. For a long while, actually.
Jeanette couldn't even stay on his feet as he swings and misses.
We saw a couple good lane changers from that sequence. Good tight sliders from Jason, including this one. Now you see me, now you don't.
Look at that. That is up to date. 105. Braun has put together a really nice year. His rate stats way above his career averages. Came in 328, 391, 571 slash line for a 962 OPS. Career OPS of 911 going into 2016. 0-2. Built-in days off. Trying to keep the back healthy. So various little ailments the last few years. The thumb been a problem. He's been incredibly productive. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three.
He made excellent pitches throughout that sequence to Braun, and that slider well off the plate gets the chase. 5 strikeouts for Hamill now.
I've got 6.
I have 6 too. I just miscounted. Okay. Good catch.
He's going to split the difference and say 5.5. We'll go with 6. Actually, you could claim you're correct. He has 5, and another
true.
one. 1 and 2 the count.
I didn't want to go over. Strikeout high for this season for Jason is 8. Did that against the Pirates back on May 13th. Well on his way here tonight.
It was motion, the pitch, slider in the dirt. So with Lester pitching tomorrow night, looks like David Ross will get 2 in a row behind the plate. Shallow center, and Caesar cannot get there. That's the Brewers' first hit. Comes with 2 outs in the 4th inning.
Price had a good swing last time, lined out to Caesar. This time didn't hit it quite as hard, but was able to dump it in front of him for the first hit of the game for the Brewers. Came on a changeup. Jason wanted to leave it.
Brewers had a 17-game home run streak that ended in the opener today. They had a major league high 27 homers during the stretch. So they have been kept off the board in this doubleheader. One swing away from grabbing the lead here. Carter at the plate.
Yeah, and he's their lead dog in that department. 27 home runs, and he's got a hitter's count.
Perez runs. Here's a throw by Ross to the shortstop side, but he would not have gotten him either way. And they have their first runner in scoring position here in game 2. Meantime, 3-0 on Carter. You have to think he'll have a green light. Ball 4.
Yeah, they were pitching carefully to him when they fell behind, and after the stolen base, first base open, you knew that Jason wasn't going to give in to him.
There's Matt Garza, who took the loss in game 1. 5 innings, 3 runs. He walked 3. A lot of deep counts. Wasn't bad, but pitch count got him out fairly early.
Yeah, working from behind in the count, having a hard time finishing guys off. Forced Counsell to make an early move to the bullpen, and boy, you hate to do that. Doubleheader day, Cubs really had no choice with Trevor Cahill making a spot start.
Neuenhuis went into this doubleheader batting .293 at Miller Park, 123 on the road. And the Wrigley Field dirt got him earlier.
Yeah, a little catch and grab like he's diving headfirst on Velcro there.
It was a double whammy too. It looked like his mouth hit the dirt, and then he ran right into his helmet after that.
Needed to spray his uniform with some of that Clark Griswold stuff. Or put on his sled.
He just slid right into the wall and left. There's the throw, and it gets by. Both runners trying to advance. Carter at second is out. And the inning is over. I don't think the Cubs defenders actually realize it. Craig Counsell may want another look at it.
Jason knows. He's calling the boys off the field. Says, "I'm done, fellas. You can stay out here if you want." What a great athletic play by Baez, backpedaling to receive the throw and then diving to make the tag.
He got him. I wasn't so sure on the first look. I think he got him. What a play. Still waiting to see if the Brewers are going to challenge.
Out.
Unbelievable. Boy, that is a huge play to end the inning. So Baez couldn't handle the first throw, but he got the second one, and it's still 1-0.
An official Cubs MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC.
Javier Baez. Again, we're looking for some tag metrics. And we believe he'd be leading the world if those things existed, as Soler taps foul up along first.
Now, if you're playing tag, you don't want to mess with Baez. You pick him, and he'd be on your team.
National hide and seek championships. Be all over it.
If you're playing Quidditch, he would be the seeker.
I laugh knowingly, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Harry Potter.
Okay. 1-1. An error on Ross, allowing Perez to get to third, and then 4-6 to nab Carter.
Get Carter. Wasn't that a movie too?
Low and outside. So Baseball Reference, one of the many awesome things they do, if you go to the game logs page, there's a section called RBI opportunities. So, for instance, Addison Russell, who has 71 RBIs, 444 plate appearances. The major league average player has 49 RBIs. So you would say, wow, he's been a great RBI guy. Well, yeah, I mean, he has come up with some huge hits. But they also have how many runners have been on base with him at the plate. And I use Russell because we've seen him a lot in that 5-hole here lately. He's batted with 337 runners on base. The average runners on base for his amount of plate appearances is 264. So he has simply a lot more opportunities. Soler lost the bat on ball 4 that got away from Maldonado.
That's another leadoff walk to Soler. That's how the second inning started. It was quickly erased when Zobrist hit that rocket to second base, turned into a line drive double play with Soler on the move. Nunez starting to get up there in terms of the pitch count at 44 now. He's pitched multiple innings out of the bullpen this year, but I don't know that he's gone as high as 44 pitches in an outing. Yeah, that's why when you evaluate hitters, you're better off looking at the rate stats than the counting stats.
And Russell has been a lot better with runners on base than with nobody on. So it was a combination of those two.
Suppose.
I guess the way I look at it, if you look at the Cubs offense, just look at on base percentage. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top 4 guys: Rizzo 398, Fowler 389, Bryant 382, 383, Zobrist 382. Then the next guy on the list among the regulars is Russell at 333. It's a 50-point gap. So however you want to align it, you probably want those 4 guys 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Why would you put a 380 something on base percentage guy 6th or 7th?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think Joe's thought is, Bryant, you buy him an extra plate appearance every once in a while by hitting him second. Rizzo gets some protection from Zobrist many nights. And that will be foul. Just foul. Is Braun all right? Really tight down there in that corner. And he's down and not getting up.
back down he goes. Precarious situation for an outfielder in hot pursuit of that ball in the.
Oh man, yeah.
See how close the foul line is to the wall.
That left leg. Oh man. Could be ankle. Could be knee. I'm betting he's done for the night.
Yeah, you got to love it. An elite level player selling out like that, trying to make a play for you.
He wants to stay in. Craig Counsell said let's go, so he's done. So they lose their starting pitcher Anderson, and now their best player Ryan Braun.
Cub fans, book your stay now at the Sheraton Grand Chicago for the 2017 Cubs convention. All reservations come with convention passes built into the hotel package. For details and reservations, go to cubs.com/convention.
So Ramon Flores will enter the game. And he'll head to left. Brewers want a do-over today. They got shut out in game 1. And here in game 2, they've lost 2 players due to injury. Meantime, 2-2 the count on Ben Zobrist. Runner at first, nobody out.
.48 pitches made by Marinez. It's a career high. I thought Flores taking out that cheat sheet out of his back pocket and the defensive positioning on the 3x5 card there.
Full count on Ben. Last time in this spot, Soler took off. Zobrist lined into a double play. And Soler's not running. And a base hit. First and second, nobody out.
Another line drive off the bat of Zobrist. This time nobody there to make a play on it. It was close. Cubs in business. 2 on, nobody out.
Derek Johnson, former Cubs minor league pitching coordinator, now the big league pitching coach for Milwaukee, will head out to the mound, and there will be some action. In their bullpen is Blaine Boyer, I believe, has grabbed a baseball.
referenced that Red Sox-Orioles game earlier. The Red Sox had a no-hitter, had a combined no-hitter going into the 7th. Steve Pearce broke that up.
Lexus Run Predictor is brought to you by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. League average here, first and second, nobody out. 61% of the time you will score at some point in that inning. Comes right around that average. Contreras, the batter. Corner man in, double play depth up the middle, and ball one. Two and 0.
Yes, so he's toast. Breeze has calmed some. It feels muggier tonight than it did this afternoon.
I agree. Three one.
A lot of times a pitcher will have the nerve to throw it in there on 3-0 when he thinks the hitter's taking. On 3-1. You anticipate the swing, and it becomes tougher to make that pitch.
Fly ball to left. Flores just into the game, makes the catch. One out here in the Cubs' 4th. The Lexus Run Predictor go below 50% with just one out being recorded. As we have learned over the years with our Lexus Run Predictor, it's more about the outs than it is where the runners are.
That's why that conversation we had earlier about the rate stats, we focus more on the on base than the slugging.
Both are important. On base skills just a little bit more important than the slugging.
Trying to help out his tiring pitcher. Carter playing way off the line at first. Allow Zobrist to get a real good jump on a ground ball. Oh my.
Maldonado, he was yelling at his pitcher. I'm not sure what, but he fired a strike back to him after this ball was fouled away. Maybe some words of encouragement.
Yeah, either words of encouragement or maybe didn't like the location.
Don't do that again.
That his guy got away with one.
Shallow right, and it'll get down. And the runners can only advance one. Well, nearly got away from everybody. Bases loaded for David Ross. We could tell from up here that ball was going to get down, but it's a lot tougher when you're on the field and both runners just not quite sure.
Yeah, and if Soler there, you just can't afford to get doubled off. Be a good idea to pick up that ball a little sooner coming back into the infield. If it gets away, you might have a chance to score.
That will be it for Marinez. He gave Craig Counsell all he had. Nearly 60 pitches of relief work after the starter Anderson got pulled after 2 batters. Pitching change in the 4th. Cubs leading 1-0. On Wednesday, August 31st, the Cubs have specially priced tickets in the Terrace reserved outfield section, and each ticket includes a special Cubs military cap. For more info, visit Cubs.com/special group nights.
Boyer, the veteran right-hander, 35 years of age, 1-2 with a 331, working for the 47th time. Very low strikeout rate, just 21 strikeouts in 51 2/3 innings.
Popped up by Ross, back of the plate, out of play.
Those 2-seam fastballs and sliders. He'll also mix in an occasional curve.
His goal is to induce weak contact with that repertoire. Fouled back. 0-2 on David. His walk with 1 out in the 3rd started the run-scoring rally for the Cubs. Pitch fouled away. Already a 1-0 lead, and they're trying to add on here with the bases loaded and 1 out. Pitch. Ground ball to third. Step on the bag. Throw to first, and that's the inning. A 5-3 double play. Cubs 1, Brewers nothing after 4. Fifth Third Bank now get access to over 45,000 fee-free ATMs nationwide. Jason Hamill with a 1-0 lead. Looking to win his 6th consecutive start out of the All-Star break. Facing Neuenhuis. Brewers trading away Jonathan Lucroy. If they're going to be without Ryan Braun for any length of time, 2 huge losses. Left knee injury. Do not know the severity at this moment. Two and 1 to Neuenhuis. Here's the pitch.
Yeah, you never know how it's going to play out. You just assume that the Brewers will be a little bit easier to beat with the trade of Lucroy and Smith and Jeffress from their bullpen. But you never know. Sometimes young players take a step forward. I've seen Broxton come up and do some damage.
Full count, 3-2.
Garcia, the young phenom shortstop, still just getting his feet wet. That's kind of the move, right? You trade away your veteran guys. Fan base a little frustrated, so you call it the young phenom. Give everybody something to cheer for.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
How do you get to Wrigley Field? The Cubs suggest taking public transportation. They offer a free bike check that's now located by the Addison Red Line station. If you drive, the Cubs provide free remote parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games. For information, visit the A to Z guide at Cubs.com. A swing and miss slide ball.
Broxton takes ball 1 outside. Mention how low he has his hands as he gets ready to hit. Somebody on Twitter earlier today said, how about Eric Davis?
Eric Davis is low.
Yeah.
Matt Caesar starts his hands pretty low.
Down below the numbers.
I imagine, I don't know if he's always hit this way. Sometimes guys that start real low used to start high and have a big hitch where they drop their hands and have to bring them back up. So a hitting coach might have said, you know what, instead of doing all that, let's just start him there and then rock back into a better load position.
At the knees for a strike.
Broxton similar in stature to Eric Davis, isn't he? And wiry. Called up towards the end of July. In 367 or 367, I believe, since his recall.
Down along the right field line. And Rizzo on the ledge. He's got it. What a play.
Call the bobblehead company. We got the tarp catch. Now we got the ledge catch.
Both against the Milwaukee Brewers. Give him the gold glove right now.
Excuse me, sir. On the barrier, lanes in. Beautiful play. Sticks the landing. Oh, such pretty work on the beam. Very nice. The dismount. The Russian judge even loves it.
I'll say the second best part of that play. The best part was obvious. And you hear MVP chants. He got over there in a flash. That's how you make that catch. If you drift, you don't give yourself any time to do what he just did.
Yeah, get to the barrier as quickly as possible and either work your way back towards the field or, in this instance, climb the wall. Sincere apology to all the Russian judges who have taken unfair criticism over the many years.
I mean, there was no dilly-dallying, was there?
No, sir.
Forward to the next Anthony Rizzo bobblehead day in 2017. Two balls, two strikes. Ground ball, base hit. And Craig Counsell has very little choice but to let Blaine Boyer bat because of the injuries suffered earlier tonight.
Yeah, and it's still just a one-run ball game, so you lose your starter this early. Every pitcher that comes in afterwards, you kind of treat like the starter in terms of whether you're going to let him hit or not, given the game situation. He's got Some pitches left in the tank. Big knock by Maldonado, though, just to get Boyer up in this inning. So David there crossing his arms, letting Jason know that Anthony was playing behind the base runner at first.
Happy 25th birthday to Duncan Jones. 1-1 on the pitcher, Boyer. On a bounce, backhanded Zobrist, and that'll end the inning with about 19 more looks. Here's just one.
What's wrong with being confident? What's wrong with being confident?
Up because the Cubs have been home for a long time. So 2 more here against the Brewers tomorrow night and Thursday afternoon, and then a road trip out west to the Rockies, the foothills of the Rockies in Denver, and the Southern California. 3 against the Padres and 3 in LA. Brought to you by Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or localfordstores.com. I have a feeling Hamill and Maldonado are talking about that Rizzo catch. Strike called on Hamill. He has not allowed a run now in his last 22 innings.
You know they respect Hamill when Boyer misses off the plate and Maldonado nods his head and says, yeah, that's the pitch. That's where I wanted to go there.
Yeah, they're not working against him like a typical pitcher. Jason hitting .250 now. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Looking to punch one into right center right here.
Fly ball deep left center, and that ball will get to the wall in the vines, and it's going to rest there for a double. How about that?
Never mind punching one into right center. Look at the look he's getting from Jeanette. As if to say, come on, dude, you're killing me here. It's not that easy. 3-2 heater, gets the foot down in time. Second or third multi-hit game this year. Into the shrubbery.
All he needs are the easy ones. Triple and a homer for the cycle. Matt Caesar with the runner at second, nobody out. And takes a strike. So for Hamill, that is actually his first multi-hit game this year. It's hard to believe.
I thought he had one earlier. Maybe it was a game where he drove in both runs. I know there was something multi.
He has had multiple RBIs 3 different times.
There you go. It was multi something.
The 0-1 on Caesar, and he fouls back.
Different base runner out there. Caesar might have been thinking about dropping a bunt down in this situation, but probably doesn't want to push Hamill too hard on the bases.
Ground ball to short. Hamill's going to try to get to third, and it was not a good decision. So he's tagged out.
Lack of experience there. On the road, traveling, and want to watch your Cubs? Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on-demand baseball on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Bryant with the RBI single in the third, plating Ross.
No harm if Caesar can steal second base here.
Ball in front of you.
1-1. Yep. You stay put. Got a little giddy there, feeling a little chipper after the double, feeling a little frisky. Cubs have not yet struck out in this ball game.
Is still the case. Perez will throw. Save. Bryant beat it out. It's a single for Bryant.
At the plate, first baseman, Anthony Rizzo.
Caesar at second, Bryant at first. 1 out, 5th inning.
Good speed on the bases. Single gets you 1, double probably gets you 2.
Boyer. It's that foul ball. And a Mazda replay cam. This was last year, and it was Hamill on the mound. Tonight, with Hamill on the mound. We did it again. Did not need to go into the seats this time. Didn't need to use the tarp. And a base hit. Caesar to third. He'll be set. Flores up with it. Out at the plate is Matt Caesar. I thought he got in, and Joe may challenge the call. We'll see.
Well, what a throw by Flores. Just assume with Caesar's speed, any base hit to the outfield, he's going to be able to score.
Safe.
Yeah, I think so.
Joe is calling for the headset.
It's hard to know as a base runner coming down the line there with that throw coming from left field. You don't know exactly where it is. If he just slides straight into the base feet first, he's easily safe. He tries to go a little backdoor slap the bag play here. Slap the base, excuse me. I think he was still in there.
Play under review, should be reversed. The Cubs will take a 2-0 lead. Yeah, great effort by Flores. That was a terrific throw.
Moonheist got off a real good throw from left field in game 1.
You know, we call that slide maneuver. Slapping the base.
Slapping the base. Left hand white.
Now chanting safe, safe.
Is it safe? Marathon Man, you ever see that movie?
It's been a while, but I did.
Laurence
Yeah.
Olivier, the dentist. Dustin Hoffman.
Yep. I've done that jog around Central Park. It goes in that movie. Could have watched that entire movie during this review.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't know. I mean, it was close play. I guess what they're trying to ascertain is whether Maldonado was able to slap the back of the arm before the hand got down. The looks we've had indicate Matt was safe. But they got quite an operation back there in New York. Like 40 screens they're looking at. Really to break it down frame by frame. Multiple sets of eyes on the play. He's getting a little restless now. Well, I'm going to start reading out of town scores. That usually ends the review pretty quickly. Wow. Apparently they felt like there wasn't enough there to overturn.
I think the Brewers are even surprised.
Soler was back there telling him to get down. Ideally, you want that guy. You see where Jorge is. You'd rather have him in Caesar's line of sight, giving more precise, either down, out, straight to the base.
Well, that's as safe as a guy who is out could be. So 2 outs. And a swing and a miss by Soler. Didn't mean to. Boyer will pick it up and throw him out. The Cubs do not score on 3 hits. Question was, how would Jason Hamill hold up in the second half? It was a rough go for him last year. He's been better since the break than he was in the first half this season. The lead's still just 1. And ball 1 on Jonathan VR.
working on his third consecutive scoreless outing. Seven shutout against the Angels last time, 6 shutout against the Marlins his previous start. Bunts always in play with VR.
Sharply hit grounder to the shortstop. That's Baez here in game 2.
Great feet for Baez, always in good position, and of course the great hands.
Off the outside corner. And Jeanette, who has struck out both times. 0 for 5 in the doubleheader with a walk. Leg kick and the pitch, ball 2. Unsure of the availability of Rondon and Chapman, who both worked in game 1.
Joe was trying to stay away from Chapman. He brought Joe Smith in with a 4-0 lead. Joe walked a couple and necessitated the move to Chapman. Well, just only threw 12 pitches.
Jeanette draws the walk.
Cubs baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you.
Nothing better than the Chicago skyline at night. Flores with his first at bat. He came into play left for the injured Ryan Braun in the 4th. Justin Grimm playing catch. It's his birthday. Happy 28th.
Can't be. It was his birthday for game 1 of the doubleheader.
Well, you credit twice in days like this.
The baseball calendar is not made up of days. It's made up of games.
It's like having a birthday and Christmas. Although people who have that birthday tell you that they don't get enough gifts. Combo deal.
Being cheated.
Strike to Flores. Here it is. Ground ball picked up by Hamill. Good throw to second. They turn it. Hamill pumped up. 1-6-3 double play to end the inning. 1-0 Cubs. special with a great deal on a Honda now at your Honda dealer. Injuries have been the main story here in Game 2. The starter Chase Anderson was chased after 2 batters. He took a liner off the quad. Chris Bryant hit it. Ryan Braun left in the 4th inning with a knee injury. Cubs have a 1-0 lead. Jason Hamill, 6 shutout innings. And his scoreless inning streak up to 23. Chicago native Rob Scahill, who went to Willowbrook High School in Villa Park, now pitching for the Brewers. So we've seen Cahill and Scahill on the mound for these 2 teams. Sinker strike.
Just a handful of appearances with the Brewers this year. Worked with the Pirates earlier this season. Has spent time at the AAA level for both the Pirates and the Brewers organization this season. All total at the big league level, 19 appearances, a 3.38 ERA.
Product of Bradley University. Zobrist fouls 1 and 2.
Cahill started with the Rockies, debuted with them in 2012. Brewers claimed him off waivers from the Pirates on July 12th of this year. An almost chase by Zobrist. Would have been very uncharacteristic. Able to check.
Down the left field line, and that ball will drop fair. It'll send Zobrist to second.
Speaking of doubles, let's check out this double play started by Jason Hamill after the walk. Handles that comebacker, gathers himself, good feed to Baez, boom, boom, inning over. That Cubs double play replay was brought to you by State Farm. Combine your car and home insurance with State Farm and save. Find an agent at statefarm.com.
Here's Contreras. Correction on the Hamill scoreless streak. It's at 21 innings. Currently. Have left 4 on base over the last couple of innings. Thought they had the second run. Did not get the call on the replay. Actually, they've left 6 in the last 3. 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th. One and nothing on Contreras.
Yeah, akin to a football team, consistently moving the ball down the field, but just not able to punch it in.
Struggling in the red zone, yeah. That last pitch was not where Scahill wanted it. He got away with a hanger. Contreras leans in. Waits on a 1-1. Fair ball rolled into right. Here comes Zobrist. There's that second run. 2-0.
Contreras takes a page out of the Zobrist playbook, goes the other way for the RBI single. Foot down, hands in. Committed to getting him over and was rewarded with the RBI single.
The Cubs have outscored Milwaukee 6-0 in this doubleheader. Caught the outside edge. 0-1. Step in the pitch. Baez, a towering blast. Way out of here. 4-0.
That was one impressive swing of the bat. My goodness, did he give that the full treatment? Number 13 for Baez, a no-doubter. So after some frustrating innings where they had a lot of traffic, they couldn't break through. A crooked number here in the 6th. There's some hang time on that.
No doubter for Baez. Ross takes a breaking ball for a strike. Double, single, home run. 3 quick ones to give the Cubs the lead. Hamill on deck with even more of a cushion.
Talk a lot about how tough it is for the hitters in a game like this where there's an early exit for an injury or whatever, and you have a series of at-bats against different pitchers. So you got different looks, different stuff to deal with. The opposite side is for the team that's using a lot of pitchers, just the chance that one of those guys is going to come in and not be at his best.
And Craig Counsell's at the point where a guy who's given up 3 consecutive hits to start this inning. There's no safety net at the moment, and there's nobody up in the Brewers bullpen. He's just hoping Scahill can get it together here. One and 2.
And for Southwest Airlines, how far did it fly? The distance of the Baez long ball? 408. Plus or minus 3. It's the margin of error. Jason Hamill out on deck. Justin Grimm has taken a seat in the Cubs bullpen.
Tip, strike 3. First out of the inning. Hey, Cubs fans, let's go. Join this Cubs season ticket holder waiting list today to claim your spot in our lineup for season tickets. It's easy and free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list. Nice hand for Jason Hamill.
Big night for Chase Utley. His return to Philadelphia, first game there since being traded to the Dodgers last year. He has 2 home runs, one of them a grand slam. A couple standing ovations, a couple curtain calls. And the Dodgers lead the Phillies 13-5.
Pressure on the Giants. Just a half-game lead. I need to see where that home run landed. People are tweeting that they thought it hit the board. It did not hit the board. Watch the left side of your screen. He hit it a ton, but it was about halfway up. The other angle, it may have looked like it hit the scoreboard. So everyone's going 408. That hit the board. No. That is a much longer poke than it looks. And Bryant's off the board against Washington last year was way to the left.
Yeah, more of a pull.
Yeah. Hamill, it's a 2-bouncer to BR. 2 outs. Hamill slumping at the plate. He made an out.
Looking to go 10-1 against the Brewers for his career. And even his all-time record at 82-82. In pretty good shape right now. We'll even forgive him the bad decision on the bases.
Pitcher always gets a do-over or a mulligan or whatever you want to call it. And 2 on Matt. VR will throw him out. Cubs put up 3. Including 2 off the bat of Javier Baez. 4-0 as we go to the 7th. Final in game 1. That's the current score here in game 2. And stay tuned. We have something special planned for you after this half inning. Perez fouls. JD will sing the stretch.
That might be a good time to go refresh your drink.
Cut and a miss, 1 and 2.
A little breathing room for Hamill allows him to be extra aggressive here, attack the zone. One pitch isn't going to beat him. Grimm getting a lot of work down in that bullpen. He was up in game 1, but did not get into that ball game.
It's 99 of the ball game. Elevated, but he's going to get away with it as Ross in foul territory makes the catch. You can get away with mistakes, as just proven.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit.
You can get away with this pitch, earlier in an account when you're not looking breaking ball, but 2 strikes, a lot of times these balls get deposited in the seats. This one popped up. There's a pitcher, you say thank you.
Yeah, there was some guys have that uncanny ability to throw that little baby slider at the top of the zone and get a lot of lazy pop-ups. That's what they said, Catfish Hunter. That was his game.
Two strikes to Carter. One and 2.
Up and in with an eye towards finishing him off down and away, perhaps.
Wow, 1965. Last time the Cubs swept a doubleheader, with both being a shutout. 6-0 both games that particular day.
In baseball history, only 26% of the time is a doubleheader swept.
Okay.
Seems like it would be more than that, doesn't it? I mean,
74% of the time
it's split.
It's a split. Did you make that up?
No.
Oh, okay. Because you sold it.
I know. That's what happens when you cry wolf as much as I do.
Yeah, Caesar. 2 outs. You all right?
I'm gargling.
Okay.
I'm getting ready.
I'm going to give you a little help too. I'm going to wait.
Gargling's gross.
Give you
isn't it?
the assist.
Sorry.
There's Neuenhuis, and he takes ball 1. Hamill's pitch, 2-1. Corey Kluber got his 13th win. Indians beat the White Sox 3-1. Royals over the Tigers 6-1 the final. Danny Duffy, what a year he's had. He's 10-1. Tapper up along first. Rizzo to Hamill. JD, here you go. Got to do it right with the cat with the fedora.
Oh, God, man.
Budweiser's 7th inning stretch with my partner.
For Take Me Up to the Ball Game, Cubs television analyst Jim Nishays.
All right, here's the deal. Less of me, more of you. Are you ready, Gary? A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. I need some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Well, root for the if they don't win, it's a shame. Need you loud now. 1, 2, 3, at the old ball game. All right, let's roll.
Yeah, I got a little raspy there. I was losing it.
It's all right.
Folks picked me up, though. They did a wonderful job. It's called mercy support.
You did great.
Well, thanks.
Corey Knebel. Outside for a ball, 3-0.
Swinging if he wants it.
Pitch to Handle, decided to take it. It's a strike.
Two knocks tonight, has the average up to 290.
Walked him. Third reach. For Chris Bryant. pretty exhilarating, isn't it? It's like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, when you get to the top of the ride, you're like, I don't know, I want to do this, but it's too late.
Yeah, that'll get your heart racing when 40,000 or so sets of eyes turn their attention to you. Good thing you know the words.
Yeah, well,
Think
and
about how terrifying that is
yeah.
for people who don't know the song.
That's when you just hope it kicks into autopilot and you don't draw a blank.
Always protected by Gary Presson. Now to Rizzo.
Tough way to make a living working behind the likes of Bryant and Rizzo. This is a tough way to make a living just facing Bryant and Rizzo.
Greg chimes in on Twitter, said that was better than the coach. You got that going for you. Swing and a miss on 3-0, 3-1.
That's not setting the bar real high, is it?
Vince says, great job, JD. Solid enthusiasm. Someone gave you an 8.5 out of 10. Bryant runs, pitches a strike. The throw is late.
Real big lead. So a little bit short, well short, and on the shortstop side. On base number 8 for Chris. Been caught 4 times.
Rizzo pops into right. Bryant ready to tag. Caught by Neuenhuis and Bryant back to second. Jeff said I refreshed my beverage as requested and I missed it. Jan chimes in. My windows are still intact.
That's good. I'll accept that as high praise. The ER guys a little more enthused than the SOL guys.
JC's my dog howled at the TV during the stretch, and I don't even own a dog. Now that's just mean.
Soler in the batter's box. Has been known to hit the screaming line drive on occasion. Check out where Gary Jones is positioned. That's Gary Jones down there. Not that far from the on deck circle, the third base coach.
2-0 is a strike. Still might not be out of harm's way. All right, got it on the first one, and then the second one, and then
haven't seen many pitchers in the zone tonight. Walked first 2 times up. Comes back to the mound.
Another 3-ball count.
The phones are blowing up.
And now they're just messing with us. Slower. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
The game of boggle has broken out in the bleachers here tonight.
Let's see, what other words can you come up with? Loser.
Guys are having a blast at the old ballpark.
Best tweet about your stretch rendition. Kevin says JD was magnifico.
Magnifico. Kevin's been paying attention all day then, hasn't he?
He's paying off the punchline from earlier today. Having fun with Damian Magnifico, who made his major league debut.
Zobrist locked in here tonight. 2 for 2 plus a line out. The hits have gone the other way. Single and double to the left. It's the interesting thing about Zobrist. You see a lot of guys take the pitch he just took, and you'll see the body language, the frustration of how did I let that go. He's so comfortable with 2 strikes. You rarely see him react that way.
Cubs out hitting the Brewers 10-2.
Ben did not have a base hit in game 1 of the doubleheader, but he reached twice, threw 2 walks. Have a run scoring first, and then walked and scored in the 8th.
Broken bat fly ball center field. Broxton will make the catch. Yeah, reminds me of Freddie Mercury, that stretch. Well done.
We can sing this now instead of the stretch. We'll just sing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Magnifico.
Scaramouche.
fan can.
We'll make a living, darling, down the road. 'Cause I got you holding on to see where it goes. So don't you feel lonely? I want you to know I can take you out. I wanna drive around with you.
No matter where we go, that's Whitney in the next Bud Friday, September 2nd. Joe Madden glasses, the giveaway on the Budweiser bleachers. Here's Justin Grimm on his 28th birthday. First man out of the bullpen here in game 2.
After a series of ups, and now gets in.
Broxton, strike one.
110 pitches. Outstanding work by Jason Hamill tonight. 7 scoreless. Allows just a couple of hits. Strikes out 7. Jason Hayward takes over in right.
So Grimm has been sent to the minor leagues a couple of times, but not really based on his work. His last 14 appearances going back to June 28th. There's a line drive base hit. No runs allowed in 11 1/3 innings. 4 hits, 4 walks, 14 strikeouts. There's Maldonado, the catcher.
And a chance for him to step into a more meaningful role now, too, with Strop on the DL with knee surgery. Joe Smith has struggled.
Wood and Edwards are up in the bullpen. This batter pitcher matchup sharing a birthday here on August 16th. Maldonado 2 years older than Grimm. A 1-0 pitch. Curve strike. Cardinals lead late 8-5 in Houston. Pham and Jerko have homered for the Cardinals. Castro, Gonzalez, and Bregman have gone deep for the Astros. It's Tyler Thornburg.
Jed Jerko on a roll with the home run ball.
Runner goes, and the pitch is popped up. And it's back out of play. And I'll tell you what, I don't think Broxton retouched second. If that ball had been caught, that might have ended up being a double play.
Just further added to the misery of Craig Counsell here today. Yeah, and normally, you know, you're not thinking about running down 4 runs this late in the ball game. Broxton's been outstanding in that department, and Craig Counsell figures, you know, I don't have a whole lot of pop in my lineup. Of course, the stolen base not only would get Broxton in the scoring position, it would take away the ground ball double play opportunity.
Yeah, Craig probably feels like he's been managing at a disadvantage since this game started, because he lost his starting pitcher 2 batters into the bottom of the first and lost his best player in the 4th inning, Ryan Braun. Playing a first place team as it is, and then you're 2 men short, playing from behind. To the count. Broxton goes again. Will stay out of the double play. 1 out. Another fine performance by Jason Hamill.
Put that note at the bottom. 095 now. 6 starts since the break.
And his last 3, 6, 7, 7 in terms of the innings. 0 runs allowed. Andy Wilkins off the bench takes a strike. Swing and a miss on the curveball. 0-2. Big time weapon, that curveball against lefties. 2 outs.
Power curveball, tough for the hitter to pick it up. Doesn't see the spin, gets started, and then by the time he recognizes the pitch, he's already committed.
VR with 2 outs, runner at second. Lifted in the air, foul, out of play. A lot of people through the turnstiles today. 41-148 for game 1. $39,420 for game 2.
Baseball Reference somewhere I was checking the other day. Cubs attendance up about 3,000 per game over last year. Does that sound right?
I haven't checked, but it wouldn't surprise me. On the ground to Zobrist, so that's going to be 17 innings in this doubleheader. 6 hits, no runs for the Brewers offense.
Firm Great 8 stat of the game, and you see it there. Jason Hamill, the win tonight, would reach 500 for the first time in his career. He's in great shape to do it. Brought to you by Mattress Firm, where we want you to sleep happy, guaranteed. Remember, it's over 8. It's time to replace.
Tyler Thornburg. Swing and a miss by Contreras. Anderson, Mariñez, Boyers, Scahill, Knebel, Thornburg. Traded away their closer, Jeremy Jeffress, and Jonathan Lucroy. So Thornburg now their guy in the 9th, but Council using him in the 8th, down 4-0 tonight.
Thornburg came up as a starting pitcher. Struggled in that role. Made the move to the bullpen and has found success there. I still think stuff-wise, I just like to look at him as a starter. Strikeout rate way up this year. Over 35% of the batters he has faced have punched out.
Usually a good idea if you're an also-ran, especially a rebuilding team like the Brewers are. You've got a closer who's done some good work. Deal that guy around the deadline. And they did with Jeffress. Traded Will Smith to San Francisco. He walked him.
It's the 4th leadoff walk Cubs have drawn here tonight.
Booming 2-run homer by Baez. It landed at Evanston, according to some reports, back in the 6th inning.
Talk about leaning on a ball.
Rainbow to right center. It's Broxton. David Ross catching a shutout. He has walked and scored the go-ahead run into a double play and struck out.
Noah Syndergaard has gone deep for the 3rd time this year. Mets lead the D-backs 4-1.
He had a 2-homer game in LA, right? For his other 2.
That sounds right, yeah.
Kenta Maeda.
ties a franchise record. Walt Terrell in 1983 and Tom Seaver in 1972 also had 3 home runs in a season.
See the run Charlie Blackmon has been on lately?
I see his name pop up a lot.
He had a 5-homer series over the weekend for the Rockies as they got swept in Philadelphia. Ross strikes out. He was a player of the week. He homered again last night. He's hitting .323. See the Rockies this weekend. Nice hand for Fowler off the bench. Dramatic game-winning home run for Dexter early last season at Coors Field. Popped up, plenty of room for Perez as he straddles a foul line and makes the catch, and the inning is over. To the ninth, Cubs 4, Brewers nothing. Bona, player of the game, and we're basing it on this play right here from Anthony Rizzo. Wrap your hands around the official Italian beat of the Chicago Cubs at one of the 19 Bona locations.
Well, after making that play on the tarp last year, he's contemplated exactly what he needs to do to go over there and make a play like that. And it was kind of fun to watch it unfold. He knew exactly what he was going to try to do. Nice casual step up and a brilliant catch.
I think he's got a sandwich named after him with Bona. I think he tweeted something to that effect recently.
It's got to Marinara, I think.
Left field, and just out of play. Look out, Willie. Contreras almost ran through that wall. Yeah, Adam Jacoby sent us his Karate Riz.
So agile for such a big man.
That's Travis Wood.
He's been rock solid for the year. He's had some struggles of late and quite as sharp.
Grounding ball to Bryant. 1 out. Aroldis Chapman is up in the bullpen. In case it gets a little hairy here. Manny Pena.
You just go nice and easy right now.
Oh, look out.
Nothing easy about that. He'll take his time. Yeah, start to ease into it. And things get a little dicey. He'll accelerate the pace.
Again, July 11th, 1965 against the Cardinals, the last time the Cubs pulled off a doubleheader shutout sweep. Pena fouls. 0-2 on him. I think the next thing for Anthony is there's that little diagonal area near the bullpen. You might have to kind of run along that. The top, the 2 catches he's made in his last 2 years. I wouldn't suggest he try it. Caesar drifting into right center. 2 down. Strike called on Perez. 3 hits in the first game for the Brewers, only 3 here in game 2. Cubs pitching has been outstanding. High drive left field. Contreras back at the wall, and it's in the basket. And the Brewers finally get a run. 4-1.
Well, there goes the double shutout. Hernan Perez turning into a pretty good utility player. We've talked about his versatility, the ability to play all over the field. He's also learned how to drive the ball. It's his 10th home run.
Just got it out. And the Brewers, who had never been shut out in both ends of a doubleheader, still have not. Strike on Carter. 0-1. Popped up, Zobrist is out, and he can't quite get it. Carter is on, and it will be Jake Elmore to bat. Tying run is now on deck. Looks like Joe wants Chapman, and it would be a save opportunity. Here comes Chapman. We'll be back. Dramatic entrance. On the board is Aroldis Chapman. Come in and just trying to get this final out.
Yeah, I thought Joe might go one more with Travis Wood, but got a new toy to play with, and he's going to play with it. Chapman 3-0 with a 177, 5 of his 25 saves. Coming in a Cub uniform. One of his 2 blown saves as well with the Cubs.
Jake Elmore. That one gets by everybody. Carter moves to second, which doesn't really matter. One and 0 the count. Here it is. Outside 2-0. Broxton on deck representing the tying run.
Just needs to recalibrate, stay through the ball, find the zone.
There's the first strike, 98 on the fastball. We got 2 outs in game 1. Two and 2. Fans on their feet. upstairs. 101 on the fastball. Three and two.
Part of the fun of watching Chapman pitch is, every now and then he throws the slider, but pretty much one fastball after another. And the question is, can the hitter catch up and do any damage with it?
Or, in the case of Elmore, not swing. He thinks it's going to be ball four. And that would get, and again, the tying run to the plate. He didn't really give himself a chance that time. That one missed badly. So here is Broxton. Wood got the first two men, then Perez homered into the basket. Carter walked. That brought on Chapman. Carter singled rather, then Elmore walked. Chapman trying for a career first, saving both ends of a doubleheader. And on the hands, fouled away.
Talked earlier about Broxton and his approach where he sets his hands so low as he takes his stance. Well, he's going to have to make sure he gets those hands back quickly to have a chance to compete against Chapman's fastball.
Tough play, and everybody's safe. Infield hit for Broxton that loads the bases. Well, that has been a perilous play for Cubs relief pitchers, hasn't it? Strop tore his meniscus. Rondon gave up a hit on a similar play, and just glad Chapman didn't leave his feet here.
Yeah, if Chapman gloves that ball, there's not a play to be made, especially with Broxton being the base runner.
Maldonado with three men on. Ball one.
It's a little nervous quietness from the crowd all of a sudden.
Ball and two strikes. Are going to hold. 3-run ball game. They learned their lesson earlier. And Carter got tagged at second base. Yeah, it's been a long day at the ballpark. Cubs trying to engineer the sweep. 2-2 on Maldonado. Here it comes. Called strike 3. Chapman saves both. Cubs win. Cubs win 4-1 the final after they shut them out earlier 4-0.
A little drama in the ninth as the Brewers rise up, score one, threaten to get more. And Chapman able to slam the door. 99 over the inside corner, frees Maldonado.
Anthony Rizzo 1 for 4 here in game 2, but it's the catch everybody wants to talk about. I loved your reaction. Loved it. You got over there fast. I mean, that's the key, right? You have no chance to make that play if you're drifting.
Yeah, you kind of just run to a spot there, and I look up, and it's still up there for a while, and I get on the cement there, catch it, and the only thing I regret is I didn't stick the landing like the gymnastics. Those girls are so amazing watching them the last few weeks, and wish I would have stuck my landing a little better.
JD said the Russian judge gave you a 9.5. So.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah,
I got up on the balance beam. And
I thought that was pretty nimble, man. I was just worried you might break an ankle or something. You're making a habit out of this. You had the tarp catch last year. Now this thing on the ledge. I mean, obviously this is your home ballpark. You play here a lot. You know your way around. But do you visualize these kinds of plays? Do you say, well, if this happens, I'm going to go here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to make those type of plays. Those are the type of plays that get you on SportsCenter, get you on ESPN. So it's really cool to do, you know, and I'm happy I made the play and came out of there safe.
Jason Hamill, 3 consecutive scoreless starts, 6 starts in the second half, all wins. Unbelievable.
The potato chips. It's the potato chips, they're working. He's been amazing for us, and you know, especially today, helping our bullpen out, going deep like that, and it's been fun to watch.
Your approach at the plate has been fun to watch for a long time now, having a great year with the bat. You feel you're in a pretty good groove right now?
It's baseball, so I feel like I am, but I don't want to say that because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So,
I hear you. Yeah,
it's one at a time, and just trying to keep the head down and stay focused.
Okay, last question. Confidence you guys get from a guy coming in the ninth throwing 104, 105 miles an hour.
It's great. It's great. He's shut down. It's what he does. It's what he's done for a long time now, and it's fun to play behind him and see that.
Did you guys have a little chat about the little thing in Cincinnati that a few years ago? That was fun. I know. Look, it's the heat of the battle, right?
That was squashed about 2 days later at the All-Star game. So
very nice.
But it's fun to play behind him and just see what he does and hear the fans just go crazy every time he throws a pitch over 100. It's fun too.
All right, you heard the MVP chants, right?
I did. It's cool to hear, and I appreciate it from our fans.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, Riz.
It's Anthony Rizzo. Cubs sweep. Final score tonight, 4-1.